I noticed my recent audio peripheral reviews have placed products on either end of the price spectrum. The Chat Recon headset by Turtle Beach and the Sadie's SA902 headset both are less than $30 and are meant to appease gamers on a budget. On the other hand, the Sennheiser GSX 1000 external amp and PC373D headset both have price tags well north of $200. Let's be honest, while the products I just listed all have redeeming qualities, most of you aren't interested in buying any of them. Statistically speaking, most of you are going to buy something that lands in between. The only problem is the $100 headset market is extremely saturated. Now there's a lot of really good options out there, but there's a lot of mediocre ones too. Today we are showcasing another Sennheiser product. This is the GSP 300. So what is it? Well, it's a mid-range gaming headset. It works on PC, console, and many other devices. It's meant to be an entry point into Sennheiser's premium offerings, and it has that more aggressive gamer aesthetic that a lot of people are into. You may recognize this headset from my review of the GSX 1000 external amp. Now, unfortunately for this test, in order to preserve the integrity of the comparison we're going to be doing, I will not be using that amp. But I will be using the onboard audio available on my PC, which, as far as onboard audio goes, is actually pretty good. So what I thought would be a good idea is to take my favorite headset I've reviewed from the budget end of the market and my favorite headset from the more expensive end of the market and put them up against the GSP 300 and see how it compares. Representing the featherweight end of the ring is the Sadie's SA902. Now, I was absolutely blown away by just how much headset you're getting for less than $30. Now, technically speaking, on their website, and the MSRP you're going to find everywhere says $60, but I've never seen it on Amazon for anything more than $30. Again, very impressive headset. If you want to check out that review, it can be found up in the cards. And then in the heavyweight corner of the ring, we have the Sennheiser PC373Ds. Now, some things I really liked about this headset was just how comfortable it was. It has the nice velvet feeling ear cups, and I don't care how big your ears are, these are going to fit around them. They're extremely comfortable. Open back design means your ear can breathe. You can play for hours at a time. They're not only great for gaming, great for listening to music. All around terrific headset. They are rather expensive though, and that's why they're in the heavyweight corner of this comparison. And then of course, square in the middle, we have the GSP 300. And the question we're trying to answer is, are you better off spending a little less money and getting a headset that's almost as good, or spending more money to get a headset that's significantly better? Or is the GSP 300 perfectly appropriate at its $99 price tag? But let's start with the basics, the look and feel category. Now, this may depend on your personal taste. The Sadie's SA902 definitely have the most gamer feel to them. They're actually designed to look like a snake, and they have light up LEDs on the side. Really cool if you're into that kind of thing, kind of tacky if you're not. And on the other end of the spectrum, the PC373D is a little bit understated. I think some people would even say it's a little too subtle, especially if you're dropping that kind of dough. The GSP 300, on the other hand, represents a little bit of a departure from the Sennheiser model. While not as aggressive as the Sadie's headset, it's definitely a little more obnoxious than the PC373Ds. And it does come in a few different color options. Some are more understated than others. As far as comfort goes, the GSP 300 rivals the PC373D in many ways. However, they are not open back, so your ears don't really get to breathe. That, in combination with the leather instead of the nice cloth material, means that your ears get a little bit sweaty after a while. Now, this may vary for you, but for me, at least after an hour or so, I'd have to give my ears a chance to breathe. They weren't uncomfortable at all, but my ears would just get hot, and I really don't like that sensation. The Sadie's, while comfortable for a $30 product, cannot hold a candle to the Sennheiser offerings. The GSP 300 is also the largest headset here and offers very little flexibility in making it more compact. It sports a double-wide headband, which is nice for comfort, but it makes the headset not super portable. And this entry-level Sennheiser headset is also the heaviest one here by a significant amount. And I imagine the leather and dual band design have something to do with that. Now let's move on to the most important part of this comparison, That is obviously the sound. You would expect the GSP 300 to land somewhere in between the budget offering and the high-end offering, and you'd be correct, plugged directly into the motherboard. It does fall kind of in the middle. Now, because this is not a USB headset, you have the ability to connect it to an external amplifier to get an even richer sound out of it. We're not going to talk too much about that because we're only comparing the headsets right now, but suffice to say, they sound very good. They're also the loudest headset that I tested, and the bass was also really, really impressive. The GSP 300 also has the best sound isolation. Now, you could argue that the PC373D is an open back design and by definition is supposed to let noise come in. It provides a much wider soundstage and in some situations you could argue is better. However, if you have noisy neighbors or obnoxious roommates or small children, then this type of headset with a closed back design and the leather covers is going to isolate you from the outside world and keep your attention focused on the game. But sound isn't the only story here. Usability is another big factor. The GSP 300 is the most compatible headset here. You can use it on a console or a PC, and with an impedance rating of only 19 ohms, you could even run it off your smartphone. It also sports the best microphone. And what you're hearing now is the audio quality recorded directly from the GSP 300. The onboard microphone is surprisingly good. A lot of times companies will skimp on places like the microphone because, let's be honest, it doesn't really matter how good the microphone is because you don't have to hear your own voice, but other people do, and a good quality microphone means that you could potentially use this headset for other things besides gaming. I also really like the volume control. The Sadie's headset has one that's inline and it's extremely cheap feeling. The 373D has one on the right ear cup as well, however it's kind of hard to find. The volume knob for the GSP 300 is impossible to miss. I really like the way it feels, however you can't completely mute it, which in some situations can be a little bit annoying. It also has the least flexible microphone arm. Now the Sadie's headset lets you completely manipulate the microphone wherever you want it, and the 373D, while not quite as flexible as the Sadie's headset, still offers you a good amount of room to move the headset around. However, the GSP 300 is technically flexible, but it doesn't actually hold its position. It's malleable, so it's not going to break off if you bump it into something, but it's not going to hold its position anywhere else. Its current position where it's at works great for me. However, some people like to have their microphone closer or further away. You don't have that option with the GSP 300. And you would be accurate to assume that its price point would mean that it has some features of the high-end headset, but it also lacks some features as well. For example, the cable is not detachable, which this is already not a super portable headset as it is. The fact that the cable does not detach only makes that a little bit more frustrating. But it does support the microphone arm up to mute that its bigger brother has, and I really like that feature. I use it all the time. Honestly, if I'm just not in the mood to chat, I'll just flip that headset up and just won't worry about it. And of course my teammates aren't able to hear me. There's an audible and a sensational click when you move that arm up. I think that's a very intuitive system and I got used to it right away. So it's awesome they implemented it into the less expensive headset. It also has a double wide headband, which is great for comfort, not so great for trying to find a place to store it because it just makes it that much bulkier, but it is extremely comfortable. It also includes an adapter. Now, the headset naturally has two connectors, one independent one for audio and an independent one for the microphone. However, if you're going to be gaming on a console, if you're going to plug it right into your Xbox controller, for example, you're going to need a 2-in-1 connector, and it includes that adapter in the box. So good job, Sennheiser, for including that. I'm sure many people will buy this headset and be pleasantly surprised that it already comes with an adapter. The results of this comparison place the GSP 300 more or less in between the budget-friendly and high-end headsets. I think we were kind of expecting that. However, it does have some features from the high-end headset, some features from the budget-friendly headset, and whether or not you choose to get this headset will depend on which features are more important to you. Let's not pretend like we don't know which headset is objectively the best one here. The Sennheiser PC373D, while possibly overpriced, earned some well-deserved praise in my video review, which you can find up in the cards. In the spirit of full disclosure, I should let you know that I receive most of my products for review for free, or at least at a very steep discount. Now, I do usually end up having to give these products back, but even still, for me to say my favorite headset here is the most expensive one doesn't really mean much. However, I can say, after testing these headsets and several others, that if it were my money, I know which one I'd pick.